When people think of steady newsroom leadership, they often think of composure, professionalism, and the quiet rhythm of morning television. That's why it caught so many off guard when word spread that Craig Melvin, at 46, had shared something deeply personal about his longtime colleague, Savannah Guthrie. This wasn't a televised moment or a dramatic reveal. It was a private conversation among trusted colleagues. No cameras, no headlines, just reflection. What Craig reportedly spoke about wasn't scandal or backstage tension. It was something quieter and far more human. The lifelong influence of Savannah's mother, Nancy, and how that influence may be shaping Savannah's response to the current crisis. The story that emerged wasn't about television at all. It was about a daughter, a mother, and the complicated way love and expectation can weave together over decades. A colleague who has seen it all. Craig has spent years sitting beside Savannah on one of the most demanding stages in broadcast journalism. Day after day, live television leaves no room for emotional missteps. You learn your co-hosts' rhythms, their tells, their coping mechanisms. According to those familiar with the conversation, Craig described watching Savannah navigate exhaustion, breaking news, and personal milestones with the same unwavering steadiness. But he said something feels different now. Not louder, not more emotional, quieter, more internal. He reportedly described it as watching someone carry not just public pressure, but something older and more personal. A kind of invisible standard she's still trying to meet. His observation wasn't criticism. It was concern wrapped in empathy, the kind that only develops after years of working shoulder to shoulder. The voice that still guides her. At the heart of what Craig shared was the idea that Savannah's strength didn't appear overnight. It was cultivated. Nancy, by all accounts, raised her children with discipline and high expectations after becoming a widow. Structure was protection, preparation was love. Craig suggested that Savannah internalized that framework so deeply that it became her compass. When facing stress, she doesn't unravel, she organizes. When confronted with uncertainty, she prepares. That instinct may look effortless from the outside, but Craig reportedly described it as learned behavior, something practiced since childhood. The idea isn't that Nancy was unkind, quite the opposite. It's that love and high standards were closely intertwined. Over time, the message becomes internal. Stay composed, stay capable, and you'll stay worthy. A story from early adulthood. One memory Craig shared stood out. Years ago, Savannah had spoken about an early career crossroads. She had an opportunity in local journalism, but her mother encouraged her to think bigger, to consider law school, to stretch beyond what felt safe. Savannah ultimately did pursue law before fully stepping into broadcasting. When she told the story later, she reportedly did so with pride. But Craig said he also noticed something else, an undercurrent of urgency, as if slowing down or settling might equal letting someone down. Whether intentional or not, that expectation became fuel. It propelled her forward into national prominence. But fuel can also feel like pressure. And pressure doesn't disappear just because someone achieves success. Sometimes it simply raises the bar higher. The calm that speaks volumes. Many viewers have commented on Savannah's composure during the current crisis. She has spoken carefully, thanked supporters, and delivered messages with precision. Some see extraordinary grace. Craig reportedly sees something more layered. He suggested that her steadiness may not just be professionalism, it may also be devotion to the values she was raised with. Control equals strength. Strength equals love. From that perspective, maintaining calm isn't denial. It's loyalty. It's honoring the very blueprint she grew up with. That doesn't mean grief isn't present. It may simply mean that grief is being carried internally, filtered through the lifelong belief that public composure reflects private character. Parenting in a new direction. One part of Craig's reflection reportedly centered on Savannah as a mother. Colleagues have observed her parenting style as warm and flexible. She allows space for feelings, for messiness, for imperfection. Craig suggested that this softness may be intentional, a quiet shift from the rigidity she experienced growing up. Not rebellion, but evolution. Many parents consciously give their children what they themselves needed most. If Savannah does this, it doesn't negate her love for her mother. It simply shows growth. Craig reportedly framed this not as critique of Nancy, but as generational healing. A daughter honoring her upbringing while also adjusting it for her own family. That duality, respecting the past while reshaping it, can be both empowering and exhausting. The weight of expectation in crisis. In moments of public emergency, expectations multiply. There are legal considerations, media scrutiny, and emotional strain. Craig reportedly expressed concern that Savannah may be carrying two burdens at once: the immediate crisis and the lifelong internal standard to handle it flawlessly. When love and achievement have long been intertwined, any setback can feel personal. Even events beyond one's control may register as failure. Craig's reflections weren't predictions, they were compassionate observations. He reportedly emphasized that no one should expect Savannah to perform grief in a specific way. Strength doesn't always look like tears. Sometimes it looks like structure, and sometimes structure is the only way someone knows how to survive the moment. Seeing the person behind the anchor desk. One theme repeated throughout Craig's comments was visibility, not media visibility, but emotional visibility. He reportedly said that Savannah is often described as unflappable, but unflappable doesn't mean untouched. It means trained, it means disciplined, it means practiced at holding steady while storms pass through. Craig's hope, according to those present, was that people might look at her and see more than composure, see the person beneath it, the daughter who learned early that resilience was currency, the adult still honoring that lesson, and perhaps the woman who deserves the freedom to put that armor down, even briefly, without fearing she has disappointed anyone. Beyond headlines and deadlines. As updates continue and the public watches closely, it's easy to focus solely on timelines and developments. But Craig's reflections shift attention inward. They remind us that every crisis touches old stories as well as new ones. Whether Nancy returns safely or the road ahead proves more complicated, the emotional layers will remain. Craig reportedly ended the conversation with a simple plea: understanding. Not sympathy rooted in spectacle, but empathy grounded in context. Recognize that strength can coexist with strain, that composure can coexist with fear, and that sometimes the bravest thing a person can do is keep standing when every instinct tells them to collapse. A moment to let humanity lead. In the end, what Craig shared wasn't explosive, it was human. It reframed a public moment as part of a lifelong narrative between a mother and daughter who love each other deeply, even if that love carried expectations along the way. As the days unfold, perhaps the most compassionate response is patience. Patience with silence, patience with steadiness, patience with whatever form grief or hope takes. Because beneath the anchor desk and the headlines is a woman shaped by devotion, discipline, and an enduring desire to make the person who raised her proud. And that, more than anything else, is what makes this story resonate far beyond television.